Hello, it's me, Galen. Galen's got Parkinson's. I'm going to put the base today on our big spider. I was thinking, I wished I'd left it till Halloween. It would have been a sort of Halloween special, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to find something else to do for Halloween. I was going to get some figures from Caliver Books, miniature figurines, because they've started recasting all of the old 1970s, 1960s miniature figurines limited ranges from Southampton. And I bought them from there a lot. And I tried to go on today, and the actual miniature figurine site says it's not secure, don't use it. So I'm going to have to think about that, because they've got some nice figures that would do for a Halloween game. Probably using, I don't know, maybe Frostgrave and all the things that pop up when you open treasures. Could be Halloween things, couldn't they? So the spider's finished. I've put a little bit of glue right up against the base where it was wet, between where the base touches the body. And in there I've sprinkled just some ordinary sand and some grey railway grit. And I did that because it sort of ink was pooling there, and I thought, well, I might as well take advantage of the fact that it's very wet, and put something in. What I tend to do when I'm basing, oh gosh.
This is a reminder.
Dried frog pills. Yes, I got it.
This is a reminder. Dried frog pills.
Now that's my Parkinson's. If you don't know, if you watch the channel a lot, you will have heard her tell me that on a number of occasions. That's to take my dopamine, because when you've got Parkinson's, that's what makes you shake. The fact that you don't make enough dopamine. I mean, I am a dope, but that's irrelevant. So that's what she's reminding me to do. But I'm doing this with you at the moment, so I can't. It's like when you were a kid and your mum used to shout to you, "Come in, Galen, come in." I can't come in. I've got a big name on. I've just found a lovely steak. I found a right good steak. If I come in now, somebody will nick it. So I go all over the base with glue and with an old brush. This PVA glue, nothing special. I got it from Hobbycraft, which is a UK's cheap art supplies. I think I got 2 for 80 odd p years ago, and I'm on the second one now. It's as good as anything. You don't need anything fancy. I always feel with bases now, the secret is to imagine where the figure's going to be. It's a giant spider in a fantasy world. I don't think that it is going to be outside. Could be a woodland spider. Yours might be, but mine won't be. So what I'm going to use is, this is a tub where I just keep everything that I've used when I've flocked other things. There's all sorts of grass, there's stones, there's sand, there's gravel I had years ago. But it's a sort of a horrible mankiness. And I will just put some bits of that at random in there. I'm not shaking them off or anything, just leaving them for a minute. I'm going to put some of the grit down now. The grit is from a railway shop, and you get a massive bag. I mean, that's one bag. Okay. I've been using that for about 8 years now. And I've still can only just put the lid on Tupperware. And again, I like this for sort of dungeony type street sceney things, because it's sort of a bit roady. What's that mean? Yeah, it's a bit roady. And then I've got some proper sand. Just proper, you know what sand is? That's sand. And this, I use this last. So I'm going to put the sand there. And what I did was I got some sand, builder's sand, and much to my wife's dismay, I dried it in the oven on a baking tray. But, you know, what you don't know can't hurt you. Trouble is, she always knows. It always hurts her. Now, what was he stood on? What have I done? I've moved something. That spider wasn't there. It was higher up than that. Oh, my sponge. What have I done with my sponge? Oh, it's here. Hang on. I thought that's gone wrong. Quickly. I went downhill fast. Yeah, so. Now, that's pretty much him done. Now, when I look, and actually there's some, I don't know if you can see them, but some areas, right there at the front, there's little, really teeny weeny little bits of grass have popped up, and little clumps, because of the mess that was in the messy box. I am now going to use some, oh dear, I'm going to use some super glue when I can find it. There it is. I don't get on right well with super glue these days. I used to use it all the time when I was but a lad. Now, if I get it on my fingers, I end up with some sort of chemical reaction, like contact dermatitis or something. It's horrible. And I'm going to stick on here with the official Parkinson's wobble. I'm not putting that on. Oh, there we go. Some big rocks. And I tend to put the big rocks where there are mistakes. They say I've got super glue on my finger now. Quick, emergency. Emergency. Whoop, 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 whoop. Alarm. My wife bought me some safety disposable gloves that I'm supposed to be wearing to do this. But she's not here. Oh well. If next time you see me I look like I've got leprosy, you'll know that didn't work. So, big rocks. So in here, in me horrible tub, I've got some big rocks. And I'm just going to pop them on here to give myself a bit of variety. Which is, I am told, the spice of life. And then I'm going to use some darky green flock, where on those little bits, and I'm hoping they're going to make like little mossy lumps. So we're not outside, but even in a cave, you could well have mossy bits, couldn't you? That could be a good name if you were an exotic dancer in Harlem in the 20s. Mossy Bits. I'm going to give it a blow now. Are you ready? And the base is complete. Now you could paint those rocks if you wanted. It's not hard. But I don't know whether I'm going to or not. I might give them a second to dry, perhaps. And I have taken to painting at the moment, and it might not last, but it's what I'm doing at the moment. Around the edges of the base, somewhere I've got a big flat brush. And what I've started to do is to paint the edges black. I know, shocking. In an ideal world, I'd like to be neat. But in an ideal world, I'd be driving around the south of France in a sports car with Halle Berry as my chauffeur. But it's not going to happen, so there's no point worrying about it. Have to be, it's these are the sorts of things that are frustrating when you have a, I was going to say disability, I don't mean that, when you are otherwise able. When I was but young and in my prime, this would have been done in like 4 flicks. Now, it's a major operation. Because I don't want to get it on the top. Now you might say, why didn't you paint it first then? Well, that's a good question. I suppose because I've had as many problems, putting the edge on first and then putting the top on, avoiding spoiling the edge that I've done, as I have done it this way. Somewhere or other, I find you're going to end up with needing a little tiny bit of control. Okay, and it's like that. So, now looking at it, for a number of reasons, partly because I put my finger on them, there are now some areas that haven't been covered. So like there's dark green and it's not been completely covered. So all I'm going to do now is just put little bits of glue on, and I'm going to just use this. I use a bit more of this mucky stuff to hide them. But I'm trying not to put sort of green on green or mucky stuff on mucky stuff. Whatever the mistake is, I'm trying to overgo it with a different texture or colour. Quite pleased with that, actually. Let's move it back there. It's always hard to know how it's going to look when you finally see it on your screens. I am going to paint the rocks, and I'm going to paint the rocks because they are easy, and some of you might not paint rocks because you might think it's hard, or because you might think it's unnecessary. My feeling is privately that your rocks need painting. I know, that's provocative. I'm going to have to get rid of that paint somewhere, and I've got no paper towel. So what I've got now is a sort of wet, dark, cracky, interestingly not nice, blacky, watery gunge. This is what I used to do the base, and the colour of the original rocks. I've just put that on almost like a sort of inky water, really. I have no plan. I keep leaning back. There's no strategy to this. the paint will do what the paint will do, and I like that. I like it having it's sort of self-will, self-determination. I've got a medium grey now, and the medium grey, I'm going to go from the bottom up with just a swish. Put it on the bottom, swish. Put it on the bottom, swish. Put it on the bottom, swish. Right, that's that. I'll show him you now when I've put the top on that. So, try not to spank the size. So, where's those big rocks? There. Look how shaky I am. There's one big rock. There's another big rock. So the rocks they're from the bottom of a fish tank, and they're a bit grey anyway. So I put a little bit of dark inky water on them, and I put a bit of medium grey. And now I'm looking for, I'm looking for a light grey. But all the labels, like on Foundry and stuff, they're all on the top of your pots. And over sort of the 20 years I've had these pots, the labels all fell off. And I don't know where they are. So that's an interesting fact. So let's use this. This is quite pale, but I'm not having much of it on. That is a base Citadel base Corax white, but I'm only really using the watery bit. And what I'm doing is that's where the light's hitting. There. And I'm just hitting it on the top. Bang. Clock. Thump. And that, my sweet little petunias, is finished spider with a base. Perhaps if I put him on this black box and I maneuver the camera. Don't want you looking at me. What are you doing? Go away. Where's the camera? Oh, there he is. So if I do that, maybe. How's he looking? That's him. Turn him around like I'm a lazy Susan. That's the spider with base. And I'm going to take a couple of photographs of him on the table so that he is on a green cloth to show you what he might look like. And then I am going to do something different. So I'll leave you and I'll say, ta-ra, Chuck!